What's up, YouTube? Today I'm bringing you guys a dinosaur deck profile. This is actually one of my favorite decks. I've been piloting it for a while now, and now with the ban list, Jet Synchron coming back, you got one card combos that set up Scythe Lock. This deck is insane. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, for your dedicated normal summon of the deck, I do run Soul Eating Oviraptor at 3. This is pretty standard for decks, dinosaur decks. Especially because this card searches just about every dino in your deck, so too good not to play at 3. As I was saying earlier, Scribe Raptor has now become a 1-card Scythe Lock with a Barone. It is insane. Jet Synchron, what were they thinking? How did that card even come off the list? For your extenders, I'm running 1 Giant Rex and 1 Miscellaneousaurus. Again, pretty standard. It sucks that this card is at 1. You want to be able to use it on your opponent's turn, but as of now, it really is only able to, secure your combos during your turn. And while Giant Rex acts as a banish and special summon, it's just way too powerful to not have in the deck. It's the best extender you have. Moving on to your babies, I do run 2 Animadorned Archosaur. I run 2 because 1 is just way too risky, especially because you really don't want to normal summon this card. That's why you wouldn't want to play it at 3. You really don't want to see it in your opening hand. You'd rather search for it with Misk, and you'll see later on that I do also play 2 pills. Moving forward, more babies. If you find yourself bricking in this deck, it's probably because you're playing too many babies. That's all I can really say. 3 Baby Ceratosaurus I really don't think is necessary. You can pull off full combo with just 2 of them. Petite Pteranodon as well. It's a great way to get into Dinosaur Pancratops. I mean, there's really no need to play more than 3 babies, and 2 and 1 is the perfect ratio in my opinion. Moving on to the boss monsters, I play 1 Dino Wrestler Pancratops and 2 UCT. This card is insane in most decks and just over the top in this deck. It's searchable, helps break boards going second, which this deck has no problem going second at all. Mostly because of this guy right here. Just the amount of board breaking capabilities this card has. It's able to run over cards like no one's business, attack everything, flip everything face down, send stuff, send DPE so he doesn't get his graveyard effect to come back. Well, he's really not that relevant anymore, but still, insane card, insane. Moving on, 3 Lost World. This card is super good this format with the amount of people using tokens in all their decks. This card enables your combos. I mean, it's just so versatile, especially in this format. Alright, some more Dino spells. This is pretty standard. 3 Fossil Dig. Obviously, you want to play as many starters as you can. Like I said earlier, 2 Double Evolution Pill. This is really all you need. Alright, moving on to the Scythe Package. This is insane. I cannot believe this card came off the list. Especially with Hulk running around. I don't know what they were thinking, but this card enables the Scythe Log, in my opinion, better than DPE did, because now you have an Omni Negate with it. And I would still consider this deck a rogue deck, and by no means does rogue mean bad, but of course you need to fight through those hand traps. People are running 14, 15 hand traps in their main deck, probably even more when they side. So you really need to fight through 2 disruptions. You have to anticipate 2 hand traps in this format. And what better way with Call by the Grave, Cross Out, and Triple Tactics Talent. is just way too much gas with these cards. You play plenty of hand traps yourself. This is the sackiest card in Yu-Gi-Oh! And this is 3 incredible effects mixed into one card. Why not run it? When you get it to resolve, it's just a snowball effect of getting too much advantage. It's just too powerful. What I would say is your most important hand trap in the deck is Scythe Gear Gamma. This card is insane in this deck. And not only that, this deck relies on Miscellaneousaurus resolving. You need to make sure that Miscellaneousaurus resolves. And what better way by putting bodies on your field? Scythe Gear Gamma and unfortunately the driver are seriously the MVP of the hand traps. Moving on, I only run 2 of each of the more impactful hand traps this format. Ash, because Branded Fusion is a card, man. Wow. Ghost Bell, again for that Despia matchup that's just so hard to deal with. And last, Infinite Impermanence is just such a good card. I've been considering it moving it to 3. Just because it's not like the Ghost Girls and it's not a hard once per turn, so you can activate multiple. But opening too many sometimes clogs the deck, and like I said, this deck really needs its consistency, and that's why I played a 40 card deck. Alright guys, into the extra deck. Link Karibo and Secure Gardener. I definitely recommend playing these cards. Secure Gardener allows you to put Link Karibo and Animadorned Archosaur in the graveyard, making Animadorned Archosaur a 1-card UCT. It's just too important. You need to run Secure Gardener and you need to run Link Karibo, because the more 1-card starters you have in this deck, the better. Our Scythe package. Crystron and Artifact Dagda. Like I said before, Jet Synchron is insane. It's much more consistent way to pop Scythe than DPE ever was, because of a card I'm going to show you deeper into the extra deck. Of course, you need to run Scrap Wyvern. You still really like hitting those normal dinosaur plays, especially in the grind game. Scrap Wyvern is so powerful, especially if you haven't burned it early on in your opening combo. But either way, Scrap Wyvern just facilitates so much with the Scrap Engine in the main deck. Nightmare Unicorn, the most busted Link 3 ever created. Apollosa, because you really like ending on her for your end board. So powerful, especially when you get 3-4 negates on her. And then, wow. Boom, pop Scythe. Boom, Synchro Summon into Boron. Insane, the things this card enables. TG Wonder Magician. For your Synchro 8s, I would say this one is more important than Borolo Savage. If you have to make a Synchro 8 and you only really have the options to make one, then Omega is your route, because it brings back Miscellaneousaurus and allows you to continue to abuse that card even though it's at 1. Omega is so important to protect as well because, of course, he's at 1. But Borolo Savage Dragon is obviously not a bad option, especially because that's an Omni Negate. Of course, Boron the Floor. This complements the Scythe lock, and Omni Negate, and the fact that they can't play out of the extra deck. They're probably just gonna scoop, so GG. Some basic Dino rank 4s, Doka and Lagia. This one is your monster negate. It's not once per turn, and it also destroys, which is crazy. Lagia as well, not once per turn, but it is a spell and a summon negate. Very powerful, both of them. And then I guess you could call this a tech card. I always battle between Abyss Dweller, Dugaris. Do I play Dugaris because it can allow me to OTK, may even let me draw cards, or Abyss Dweller? And Abyss Dweller always performs. It always outperforms most of my rank 4s. And it's just the easy option. It's just that lingering effect is insane. And the ultimate plan B, Divine Arsenal Zeus. Too good not to play. This card is insane. Will always be insane. So, moving on to your sideboard. I do run a lot of 2-ofs, I'll go ahead and say, in the sideboard because I run a crossout designator. And so, let's go ahead and get into some of these ratios. Token Collector, Artifact Lancia, and Nubiru, all at 2. This is your kryptonite. This is your kryptonite. If you see your opponent is playing Lancia, you have to rush that into your main board. Because if they keep resolving that, they're going to keep stunning you out and they're probably going to OTK you. So definitely this is your best crossout designator target. Second best is Nibiru, the Primal Being. Definitely hurts this deck. You're a combo deck, so you're probably going to get Nibiru every once in a while. But hopefully crossout's there to stop that. Token Collector has a funny way of interacting with Lost World. Wow, this card is insane in this deck. Okay, so some Spell and Trap, Disruption, and Removal. Twin Twisters in the form of a quick play spell, which is super powerful. Been thinking about swapping this for Cosmic Cyclone, but Lightning Storm is just, wow, just always outperforms. And then finally, your blowout cards. Dark Ruler No More is a huge crossout designated target because of the board you put up. A lot of it is monster based negation and disruption. With Apollosa, Borlo Savage, UCT, you know, you want to be able to mitigate the risk of playing a board like that by playing Dark Ruler No More in the, at least in the sideboard, so you can tech that in, hit that with crossout, and hopefully it'll stop you from, I mean, setting up an entire board and wasting all those resources. And of course, last and definitely not least, Evenly Matched is insane, and any deck that can generate its own tokens and in a format where people are generating tokens is just way too good, way too powerful. If you're not playing this card, I don't know what you're doing. This card is busted this format. Alright guys, that's the Dino deck profile. I know you guys have been showing a lot of love and we very much appreciate that. We're gonna be bringing you guys some really insane deck profiles in the next couple of days. Some topping local deck profiles, and some other really neat stuff, man. Thank you guys so much for showing all the love to Yu-Gi-Oh! House. Peace!